And we were in an area outside of the stadium in Columbus, Georgia. And like traffic's going this way, there's a little parkway, and traffic's on this side going this way. Well, there was a little kind of a driveway between the two where you could turn to make a U-turn. And that's where our group was told to stand and wait for the bus to pick them up. While we were waiting for the bus to pick us up, there was a guy, the black guy, that came along, and he was standing, and he had a little bit to drink. He was feeling happy. It was joy juice. Mm. And so he was directing traffic on this side, and there's a policeman over here. And the policeman told him to stop directing traffic. And this booze was telling him to continue, and he didn't pay any attention. Do it 2 or 3 times, and the policeman told him to stop. After about the 4th time, literally, as close as right here, the policeman took out his gun and shot him. Dead. Fell down. Now, that is perhaps the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. To witness that and not be able to do or say anything about it. He didn't get as much as a slap on the wrist. Here this man was killed for no reason. As close as I am to George. We reported that, of course, and the FBI thought it was one of the military personnel, and when they found out that it wasn't, then they dismissed it as if this is a normal thing. Nothing was ever done. But this is just one of the things that takes place and has taken place that I personally witnessed. But again, we put this type of thing behind us because we have a mission to accomplish. And we accomplish this mission. We have a goal in life that we want to get a pair of wings. And we take all of this animosity, ill feelings, and convert that into perseverance. Mm. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how we did it. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. It was done. I have no means. But when you stop to think about how we did what we did, I did not have the combat that George and Bob had. We did have experiences. I had combat in a different area during the integrated Air Force. I was a test pilot, combat pilot, jet pilot, and ended up as one of the top-rated pilots in the Air Force when I flew F-86Ds at the time, which there were only 200 pilots that were trained in the Air Force to train other pilots, and I was one of them. Instructor pilot, instruments, and all-weather fighter pilot jets, which had its own radar set. We could literally get on the end of the runway, take off, be directed by ground radar to our target area, set up our own pass on radar, shoot the aircraft down, come back and land without ever seeing the ground or the target. We had that type of skill, and we used it. That was in 1953, 50 years ago, 51 years ago. But again, this is the precursor, if you will, of the fighters of today with what they call the heads-up, fly-by-wire type of aircraft. F-86D was called a transonic aircraft, which got up to the speed of sound just in the transonic area and could fly combat that way. And after a little while, particularly flying tests, Ms. Dunder's little boy decided that the law of averages could catch up with it pretty quick, so I decided to get out, and I did. But then I joined the Tuskegee Airmen, and began to give back to the community. And the more I gave back to the community, the richer I felt. And we fly kids now on the second Saturday of every month, generally, free of charge, at the Gary Airport. And these are some of the kids that we fly in their airplanes. And so we give back to the community this way. We have scholarship programs, we have educational assistance programs. And we enjoy it, and we give back to the community. So, this is what we're about. If you look in the history books, look for us, look hard, because you won't see us. Because we're not there. The white reporters could have cared less about what the black units were doing during World War II. As a result, we're not in the history books as 12th Air Force, the 15th Air Force, the 8th Air Force. We still contribute to the country for which we fought and died, for which you are enjoying, which is true. So, this is our mission. This is what we do. Giving back to the community. Thank you.
May I say something right
Yes,
quick?
come on.
I don't want to come up. I just want to say that you have forgotten the B-25 pilots. Everybody wasn't a fighter pilot. They were bomber pilots too.
When I brought that out about my father, you know, as a navigator.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if the other people knew.
When I said there was 15,000 black men and women involved in the Tuskegee Airmen experiment/experience. And they were from all over the United States and the Virgin Islands. And so people like to ask how many are still living today. We don't know, because they were from all over the country. So ladies, you all also have a very vital role in the success of the Tuskegee Airmen experience. And so, do we have time for a question and answer session? Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Um,
Fox, yes, you can say
the
something.
place was Tuskegee. this was an experiment. They took these first guys had to be college graduates, and took them down and put them at Tuskegee. Why did they choose Tuskegee? Does anybody really know? Well, there were a whole lot of reasons. I have my private reasons, which may or not be true. I thought that 40 miles away they had, at Montgomery, they had a squadron of planes all gassed up and armored up, ready to put down any kind of a riot that men would make down at Tuskegee. Okay, 40 miles east there was Fort Benning. They had big guns and a whole lot of troops over there, and they would be in position to help put down a riot at Tuskegee. To the north was Martin Lakes, the great big expanse of water where they made a dam, and this was practically an impossible passage to escape north from Tuskegee. The only way that men could escape out of there would be down to toward the Gulf of Mexico, flat land where we could be slaughtered or driven into the water. But there was one other thing about Tuskegee. Now, the government also had to cover its behind. So when they put this flying school down there, it was supposed to be failure. We were supposed to be cracking up airplanes and killing each other and filling the hospital. Well, they had a hospital down there at Tuskegee, which was a control, and the government was covering its behind. It was this. Now, this is 1941. To get on the bus, you had a black man had to wait at the end of the line. Then when all the whites were on, then he could get on, then he could get to the back of the bus, and I don't know what happened when he filled up the back of the bus and standing alongside of whites. I don't know what they would do there. But anyway, if these black men were supposed to be cracking up these airplanes, where could they go to the hospital? If they had to carry them 40 miles to Montgomery or 40 miles to Fort Benning, they died on the way. So they get to the hospital door, and they're the first to be admitted because they're bleeding and dying. No, they got to wait till all the white patients are treated before they could take them in. So this hospital down there was for blacks, and if blacks got banged up in airplane crashes, they could be first in line at this hospital. Now, you go through life and you wonder what happened and why it happened, and these things gradually come out. And this is the one thing that I think was good about Tuskegee, was a hospital there that was there and could be used for treating a black man first if he got hurt in an airplane accident. It's just a personal look at things, and that was the way I saw it. No, that's the way I see it now.
Okay, looks like that may conclude our part of the program. Unless there's some questions and answer sessions, we'll have that. If not, I brought some books along that are for sale, and we take checks and cash, no charge cards, and the books are reasonable in price, from $13, I think, up to about $35. And it includes the pre-Tuskegee Airmen. One particular book there shows about the very rich history of African American men and women in the Chicagoland area during the 20s and the 30s. You know, we all heard about Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart. But we didn't hear about Janet Bragg, Cornelius Coffey, Bessie Coleman, Willa Brown, Janet Harmon, and Grover Nash, and Harold Hurd. These were all pioneer aviators, young black men and women flying in the late 20s and 30s, early 20s, when you want to talk about Bessie Coleman, who had to learn French and was certified because she couldn't get lessons here. She went to France. Then came back here, and she was somewhat like a catalyst for blacks in early aviation. There was a woman there. Okay, so let's not forget, women had a very significant contribution to aviation. And I want to bring out that aviation never has been, never will be a guy thing. Okay? You know, just like they want you to think you had to be able to press 500 pounds and run 25 miles to fly an airplane. No. That's all. So, without further ado, I'll turn this back over to Ms. Stackman. And we want to thank you very much for having us here.
We have learned a good many more things that we probably maybe, well, of course, some of you knew, but many of us didn't. And it was most interesting and very enlightening. And the books are going to be outside in the hallway on sale. And we have refreshments. You will all stay. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that sounded like an order. We'll stay, weren't you?
We work out in the area.
It's in here.
And I hear it some of the other. So it's no, I'm heritage also.
I was sitting there all day today, telling you gotta be here, you gotta be here, and I didn't know everything.
Well, we were married.
I just
You sure am.
Squeeze it through, don't click.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm through.
I'm glad I came too. I miss Gail.
But I'm saying, I just come up and say, I'm in the garbage and I'm going upstairs and then I wouldn't see the messages.
Yeah, that's really, you know, they say he's looking like Clark Gable. Yeah, that's a beautiful picture. Sweetie, how are you?
Now, Bob is the one that handles the sale of the books, and
Yeah, he did, and he said I have to order it.
it's all right. Did he? Did they have
He said
a order
that-
form?
said we're at Camp Ellison, Illinois. We finished our basic training here in the and arranged railroad support another 5 months worth of
They were trained for just by the time they got to Century, that was
Called me and I was
Yeah, I'll give it a second.
small area.
they call it used to be Waynesfield. It was rented. Governor's Air Park. They finally made us move out because we couldn't pay taxes on it. They said since we occupied it, we had to pay for it. I said, there's no age on the property.
Thank you for telling me.
Sam?
Right now, look this way and smile for a couple minutes.
Yeah, a couple minutes, guys.
Now, what I'm going to do is zoom in.
Hold up them fizzy cues.
Yeah. And this will give Miss McQueen the option of putting your names underneath your pictures
All right.
when it rolls on camera. Here we go.
Oh, say cheese, huh?
Any closing comments before I close out?
Oh, we enjoyed being here and very receptive audience, and invite us back again.
All right.
Thanks for inviting us.
All right.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to Commerce Connections. And again, I want to present to you the Tuskegee Airmen 2004.
Thank you very much, Ms. McQueen, for having us on your program.
You're welcome, Melvin.